Funny, the way they laughed. Oh ho, the way they thought I'd break. They had no idea they weren't destroying me. They were designing me. Every insult they whispered behind my back, every smirk they flashed in front of me, every time they called me a failure, wow, they were actually laying the bricks of something divine. They thought they were tossing stones, but I was stacking them into pillars, into walls, into a throne they'll now have to kneel before. This isn't just a story about rising up. This is about turning venom into vision, turning hate into horsepower. This is about showing the world that the louder they mocked, the higher I rose. Welcome to the empire they built for me without even knowing it. You ever felt like your dreams were invisible? Like no matter how loud your passion screamed inside, the world acted like you were silent? That was me, standing in a room full of people, but no one really saw me. They didn't believe in me, not because I wasn't worthy, but because their vision was limited. Their eyes couldn't see past the ordinary. And I was never meant to be ordinary. They doubted, they laughed when I spoke about my ideas. Not because they understood them, but because they couldn't comprehend them. And when people can't comprehend something, they try to destroy it. But what they didn't realize was that every laugh they threw at me, every sarcastic good luck, every backhanded compliment, it wasn't killing me. It was designing me. They thought they were breaking me down. But in reality, they were giving me the exact materials I needed to build myself up. Every word of doubt was like a pencil line on a blueprint. I started to see patterns, started to notice the same way they always underestimated me. Same tone, same dismissal, same mockery. And the more they doubted me, the more detailed my design became. They built my anger, yeah, but more than that, they built my focus. You know what's crazy? While they were busy pointing fingers, gossiping in circles, trying to be loud, I went quiet, dead silent. Because that's where the real work happens, in silence, underground, away from their eyes. I stayed silent so long, they thought I gave up, but I wasn't hiding. I was building. And every brick of self-doubt they threw at me, I caught it. Not to throw it back, but to stack it. I didn't need their help, I used their hate. I didn't need their support, I used their suspicion. And slowly, silently, I became something they never saw coming. That's the thing about being overlooked. It turns you into an architect. I started mapping out who I would become, down to the tiniest detail. Not a fantasy, not a wish, a plan. Their doubt became my direction. Their disrespect became my drive. Their dismissal, my design. And here's the twist. They thought I was the lost one, the confused one, but I was the only one in the room with a map, with a blueprint, with a vision so strong their small minds couldn't begin to touch it. They never realized, while they were mocking me, they were working for me. They laid the foundation, they poured the concrete, they handed me the tools, and I built. So when you hear someone doubt you, smile. That's them handing you another piece of the blueprint. Don't burn their hate. Build with it. Pain, it didn't just visit me. It moved in, set up shop, became a part of my bloodstream. You ever felt pain so loud it drowns out everything else? Not just in your body, but in your spirit. I did. And I didn't ask for it. I didn't sign up for it, but I welcomed it anyway. Because after all the noise faded, after the claps stopped, and the fake smiles disappeared, pain was the only thing that stayed. It didn't come with love. It came with betrayal. It came in the form of people I trusted walking away. People I defended, mocking me. People I thought would ride with me. Yeah, they were the first ones to doubt me when it got uncomfortable. That pain, it wasn't poetic. It was ugly, real, dark. It hit deep and it hit daily. But I learned something the comfortable people never will. Pain builds what comfort never could. You see, pain doesn't just show up to hurt you, it shows up to shape you. It gives you the raw materials for growth, if you're brave enough to use them. And me, I used every ounce of it. Every heartbreak, every failure, every silent night when I screamed into my pillow. I didn't bury the pain. I poured it into my mornings, poured it into my grind. I turned it into concrete. I mixed it with obsession. I hardened it with rage. That's what they don't see when they look at the throne. They see success, but they don't see what it's made of. They don't see the coal foundation underneath. The foundation built with pain, discipline, and years of being ignored. They just see the crown, but I feel the weight of every brick that holds it up. They gave me pain, thinking it would slow me down, but pain doesn't slow down a builder. It teaches him how to construct faster. I turned every injury into instruction, every bruise into blueprint, every scar into a symbol that I was still here, still breathing, still building, because if pain didn't stop me, what could? Pain taught me the truth. People don't destroy you. You destroy you when you let their pain go to waste. So, I didn't waste it. I invested it. And now, every floor of my empire stands tall because of the exact moments that were designed to break me. They thought I was deaf to the noise, that I couldn't hear the whispers, the laughter, the casual mockery. They thought I was so focused on surviving that I couldn't feel the weight of their judgment pressing down on me like a shadow. But here's the truth. I was always listening, always. You know what hurts the most? It's not the loud hate, not the obvious disrespect. It's the quiet conversations they didn't think would reach you, the sideways glances, the chuckles when you walked away, the "he's still trying" jokes. Those are the words that don't just hit your ears, they embed themselves into your bones. But I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I didn't defend myself. I listened. And while I listened, I learned. I took notes. I memorized their tone, their words, their certainty that I wouldn't make it. And I never argued back. Why would I? I wasn't in a war of words. I was building an arsenal of action. They thought their silence would break me, but it sharpened me. They thought ignoring me would kill my confidence. It gave me clarity. They thought doubting me would make me quit, but doubt is just a preview for the disbelievers, a warning that something massive is about to arrive. You know what's dangerous? A person who stops needing validation, a person who stops fighting for approval and starts focusing on progress. That's what I became. I stopped listening to be accepted and started listening to be aware of who I was becoming, aware of who they really were, aware of what I was building in silence. And oh, the silence. And that was their biggest mistake. Because in the silence I grew. In the silence I trained. In the silence I constructed a version of myself that they never planned for. A version so dangerous, so different that the next time they saw me, they didn't even recognize me. I didn't speak. I didn't show off. I just showed up. Results, an impact had a fire in my eyes and steel in my spine. They say revenge is best served cold, but I never wanted revenge. I wanted remembrance. I wanted my silence to become so loud it echoed through every room they entered. I wanted my growth to haunt them, to remind them every single time they doubt someone else that they once doubted someone who became everything they feared. So yeah, I was listening, not because I needed them, but because one day I knew they'd be listening to me. And when they finally did, there was nothing left to say, just results, just the empire they helped me build with their whispers. They spoke, I listened, and then I answered with greatness. They laughed. Oh, they laughed. And not just once, not just in passing. It was a ritual to them, a way to validate themselves. Every time I tried, every time I failed, every time I stood up again, there was laughter waiting for me on the other side. That ugly kind of laugh, not full of humor, full of arrogance, like they knew I was wasting my time. But while they were laughing, I was building. Let me tell you something about silent work. It doesn't look impressive. It doesn't look loud. There's no spotlight, no applause, no attention. It looks like failure. It feels like failure. And that's exactly why they laughed, because they didn't see the blueprint. They only saw the bricks scattered on the ground. They mistook the process for the end. But behind every late night, every missed party, every silent breakdown in the dark, I was stacking bricks, one by one, quietly, carefully. While they joked about me, I was mapping the exit out of everything they said I'd never escape. That's the thing about dreamers. They look crazy until they win. They didn't know how many times I bled behind closed doors just to keep my dream alive. They didn't see the sacrifices, the loneliness, the obsession. They only saw what I hadn't achieved yet. And they laughed because it made them feel bigger, safer, superior. But I kept building. No shouting, no status updates, no need to explain, because real builders don't talk about what they're building, they build it. And when it's done, they own the skyline. You want to know something wild? They were my best fuel. Their laughter, it echoed in my head every time I wanted to quit. Every time I collapsed. It rang like an alarm clock. Get up, build, keep going, prove them wrong without saying a word. I didn't want their apology, I wanted their silence. The kind that comes from disbelief when you actually make it. So I stayed low. Kept grinding while they slept peacefully in their comfort zones. They laughed because I was invisible, and that invisibility was the most powerful gift I ever received. They couldn't copy me. They couldn't sabotage what they didn't understand. And by the time they realized something was happening, it was too late. The throne was already rising. And when I finally stepped into the light, their laughter, it stopped. It didn't fade, it died, because now they had to live with it. The memory of mocking the person who outworked, outlasted, and outbuilt them, without ever clapping back. That's the most savage part of success. You don't have to say a damn thing. You just show up with results so undeniable, it breaks them. So let them laugh. Let them joke. Let them sleep on you. Just make sure when you wake them up, it's with something they can't ignore. I was silent while they laughed, but now they're silent while I rule. They thought their words would crush me, that every insult would chip away at who I was, that every jab, every casual dismissal, every sarcastic good luck with that would tighten the chains around my neck. They were wrong. Those words didn't kill me, they sharpened me. See, most people hear negativity and try to drown it out. They cover their ears, they beg for silence, they avoid conflict. But I recorded every syllable, replayed them in my head like a war chant, because I wasn't looking for comfort. I was looking for fuel. And hate, oh, hate burns hot. They said I wasn't good enough. I trained longer. They said I'd never make it. I worked smarter. They said, who does he think he is? I became exactly what they feared I'd become. Because when you've been talked down to your entire life, you either break or you begin building a war machine out of words. Their hate became my weaponry. Every insult a sword, every doubt a shield, every you can't a loaded gun cocked and ready. I didn't shoot back with anger. I fired back with results. I turned their judgment into Judgment Day for them. And they didn't even see it coming. Because while they were still running their mouths, I had already rerouted my entire path. No longer fueled by their love, but by their disbelief. And trust me, disbelief is far more powerful. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't wait for backup. It doesn't seek pity. It just works. And started to weaponize every wound. 'Cause you know what a scar is. Proof you survived something that was meant to destroy you. And I wore mine like armor. I didn't need compliments anymore. I didn't beg for support. I stopped trying to prove myself to people who were committed to misunderstanding me. Instead, I focused on the battlefield. Because every time I heard, "You won't," I whispered back, "Watch me." And they did. They watched as the same words they used to bury me became the bricks I stacked into a fortress. They watched as the same sentences that once shattered me became the echoes that now follow me everywhere. I didn't silence my haters. I amplified their voices through victory. They made noise, hoping to distract me, but I turned that noise into rhythm. I moved to its beat, and by the time they realized their weapons weren't breaking me, they were arming me. It was already too late. The war was won, and they lost. Not because I fought back harder, but because I never stopped walking forward. Let them talk, let them scream. Their words are bullets. Just make sure you wear armor made of discipline. And when they fire, catch every word and reload.